Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Do you know approximately when your family...
You have to turn your mic on.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'll start again. Do you know approximately when your family left Neverland and never came back?
No.
It was in the spring of 2003, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Well, it was. Let me try and see if we can get to that place. You went to Miami in February of 2003, right?
I don't remember. I just know when we finally left, we had enough time to go back to school.
Okay, and when did school start?
September.
Okay.
September.
Do you think you were at Neverland in June 2003?
I don't know.
Do you think you were there in April of 2003?
I don't know.
Okay. Have you ever discussed with your mom when you left Neverland and never came back?
No.
Okay. Do you think you were at Neverland in August of 2003?
I don't know.
Were you there right before you started school?
No.
You actually left many months before you started school, didn't you?
No. We were in school.
You were in school when you left Neverland, never to come back.
No. I didn't understand your question.
Okay, let me try and not confuse you. You come back from Miami, right?
Okay.
And you go to Neverland, right? And at some point you left Neverland, right?
Yes.
And you're back from Miami, you stay at Neverland, and then you leave. Where do you go when you leave?
Back to Jay's house.
Okay, that's Jay Jackson, right?
Yes.
And is that when you had the interviews at Jay Jackson's house?
When we left the last time.
Yes.
We never had an interview.
Never had an interview at Jay Jackson's house.
No.
Okay, did you ever have an interview with 3 social workers at Jay Jackson's house?
Yes, but that was during this whole thing at Neverland.
Okay, I'm just trying to find out approximately when. Excuse me. Yesterday you told the jury that at one point you left Neverland for the last time, right?
Yes.
And you never came back again, right?
Yes.
And that was before you went to see attorney Larry Feldman, wasn't it?
Before we left Neverland.
No. You left Neverland for the last time before you first met attorney Larry Feldman, right?
I don't understand the question.
Okay, at some point you met attorney Larry Feldman, right?
Yes.
And you went to see attorney Larry Feldman with your mom, right?
Yes.
And that was after you had left Neverland for the last time, right?
Yes.
And at some point, Larry Feldman sent you to a psychologist named Katz, right?
I didn't know he sent us.
Okay, well, you went to see a psychologist named Stanley Katz, right?
Yes.
And you saw him after you first met attorney Larry Feldman, right?
Yes.
And you met attorney Larry Feldman after you met attorney William Dickerman, right?
Yes.
And this all happened in the spring of 2003, didn't it?
I don't remember.
You don't know. You were never at Neverland in the summer of 2003, were you?
Correct.
Pardon me.
Correct.
And you discussed many times with the Santa Barbara sheriffs the fact that you left Neverland in the spring of 2003 and never came back, right?
Wait.
Sure.
I was there in 2003.
No. You were there in 2003, but you left in the spring, didn't you?
I don't remember when I left.
Okay. Have you ever discussed with the sheriffs when you left?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you know if you were there in July of 2003?
Don't remember.
Okay. You could have been.
Probably.
Pardon me.
Probably.
Okay. You told the jury the first night you spent at Neverland, you slept where?
First out of all the trips.
Yes.
In the guest unit.
And that was your first night, right?
Of the first time I ever went to Neverland.
Okay. Now, the first time you went to Neverland, do you recall having dinner with Michael Jackson in the main dining room?
Yes.
And who was there for that dinner?
My mom. Wait, I know it was my dad, my brother, me, my sister, Michael. I think my mom was there also.
Okay, let me ask you this. You don't recall seeing psychologist Sanely Katz in May of 2003, right?
I don't know the dates.
Okay, would it refresh your recollection if I just show you his testimony? Would that help you?
His.
If I showed you what psychologist Stanley Katz told the grand jury?
Sure, but I don't know the dates.
Okay, if I showed you what he said, would that remind you?
I never knew the dates.
Okay, so even if you saw it, it wouldn't.
No.
Wouldn't jog your memory. Okay. And if I told you saw Stanley Katz again in June of 2003, that wouldn't jog your memory, would it?
No.
Alright, and if I told you when you first saw attorney Larry Feldman, that wouldn't jog your memory, would it?
No.
Okay, but you never went back after you met psychologist Katz, right?
Excuse me, Your Honor. Vague.
Sustained.
Okay. Do you know if you ever returned to Neverland after you first met psychologist Stanley Katz?
We never returned after we met Stanley Katz.
Okay, and would it be true, excuse me, it is true that you never returned to Neverland after you met attorney Larry Feldman, right?
Yes.
And you first spoke to the Santa Barbara sheriffs after you met Stanley Katz, right?
Yes.
And you first went to the Santa Barbara sheriffs after you met attorney Larry Feldman, right?
Yes.
Is there anything I could show you that would remind you?
I never knew the dates.
Okay. Of when you met attorney Feldman? Don't know.
Never knew.
Alright, okay. Do you have any idea what month it was when you last went to Neverland?
No.
Okay, alright, but you never were there in August of 2003, were you?
I don't remember the dates.
You don't know. Okay. Now, you told the Santa Barbara sheriffs about the locks in Michael Jackson's home, did you not?
Yes.
You said his bedroom has double doors, right?
Yes. When you first enter the room.
And you said there are several locks, right?
There's 7 locks.
7 locks.
Yes.
Including a combination lock, right?
Yes.
How did you know there were 7 locks?
I don't know. I just remember looking at them.
Did you know the combination to that combination lock?
Do you mean the digit keypad?
Well, you told the police there's a combination lock, didn't you?
I said there was a keypad.
Okay, was that the code you were talking about?
Yes.
Alright, and did that code unlock the 7 locks?
No, it only unlocked 1 lock. The other 6 locks were unlocked manually.
Were what?
Were unlocked by hand.
Okay, have you ever unlocked any of those several locks?
I really don't remember.
You don't remember at all?
No.
You were caught trying to unlock those locks one time, weren't you?
When?
At Neverland.
I don't remember that.
Do you recall anyone from security ever catching you trying to open those locks?
From the outside.
Yes.
It's impossible to open them from the outside.
Did you ever try to do it?
No.
Were you ever caught by any security person trying to open those locks?
No.
Don't recall that at all.
If I ever went to the door and punched in the key code, if it didn't open, I just left. I never tried to force it open.
So, you're telling the jury that you did go, on at least one occasion.
No, I'm saying if that ever happened.
If it ever happened.
If those 2 doors were locked.
Right. If they were locked and you didn't know the code, you couldn't get in, right?
Yes.
And are you saying you tried a code one time that didn't work?
No, I'm just saying.
Just saying what?
If the door was locked and you punch in the key code, there's no other way you could possibly get in.
Alright, because you tried it and it didn't work one time, right?
I never said I did.
Did you?
I'm just saying if I tried, that would happen.
Did you ever try that?
No.
Never once.
No.
And never were caught by anyone trying to use the wrong code?
No.
Okay, do you know if your brother was ever caught trying to use the wrong code to get in?
No.
Okay, now, you told the sheriffs that the code was either 1960 or 1849, right?
It was 1960 and 1849.
How did you know that?
Because 1849 was the master code. And 1960 got you into Michael's room.
Okay. You told the sheriffs that 1849 is a general combination for Neverland, right?
Yes. It's the master code.
And 1960 is a combination for Michael's bedroom, right?
Yes. It's the code for Michael's bedroom.
Which one are you telling the jury the security guard gave you?
1849.
Do you know why the security guard gave it to you and not Michael?
We never really asked Michael for that. He just showed us one day.
The security guard did.
Yes.
And you remember the codes to this day, right?
Yes.
How many times do you think you've used those codes?
A lot of times.
How many times, do you think?
Probably over 100.
Over 100 times you've been to Michael Jackson's bedroom.
No, it gets you in everywhere.
So you've probably used these codes to see every room in Neverland, right?
No, I just knew the codes.
Huh.
I memorized them.
Okay.
So I won't get locked out.
But you've used them about 100 times, you said, right?
Yes.
You've been into every single room at Neverland, haven't you?
At one point, yes.
You went in with your brothers, right? Or, excuse me, your brother, right?
In every room.
Yes.
No.
Did you go to every room by yourself?
No, I was with someone.
Well, you weren't always with Michael, right?
I was probably in the toy room with Prince and Paris and Grace.
Okay. Did you let them into the room?
What?
Did you use the code and let them into the room?
No, Grace knew the code.
I'm asking you if you remember how many times you think you've used these codes.
A lot of times.
To get into the rooms at Neverland. You said about 100, right?
No, I'm guessing. I'm just saying I used them a lot of times.
Why did you pick the number 100?
I don't know. I'm just trying to show that I used them a lot of times.
Alright, and you used them many times when Michael Jackson wasn't even at Neverland, right?
He was there. It got you into the house. It got you into his bedroom. Got you into the front door.
But you've used those codes many times when Michael Jackson wasn't even at Neverland, right?
When?
I'm asking you.
I never used them. What did you say?
No, let me rephrase it. You personally, Star Arvizo, have used those codes to get into rooms at Neverland when Michael Jackson wasn't even there, right?
No.
You're saying.
We barely learned those codes after the Miami trip. I never knew them before.
Do you recall ever being caught in the wine cellar?
The wine cellar doesn't have a combination lock.
Do you recall ever being caught in the wine cellar drinking wine when Michael Jackson wasn't present?
Never.
Never happened.
It's always locked, and to unlock it you need a key. There's no combination to get in there.
Let me repeat my question. Do you recall ever being caught in the wine cellar at Neverland with Gavin drinking wine when Michael Jackson wasn't even there?
No.
Are you saying that never happened?
Yes.
Do you ever recall being caught at any other location in Neverland drinking wine when Michael Jackson wasn't there?
No.
Okay, that never happened.
Yes.
Okay, now, you just told the jury voluntarily where the key is to get in the wine cellar, right?
No, I said that the wine cellar needed a key to get in there.
And you knew where the key was, correct?
I knew it was in the lounge.
You knew where it was hanging in the lounge, right?
Not exactly. I didn't know where it was hanging. I just knew it was in the lounge.
Well, please describe the lounge for the jury.
It has a closet, a couch, a restroom with a shower. It was pretty small.
You've been in the lounge many times, haven't you?
No.
How many times have you been in the lounge?
Once to put on a cooking shirt.
You've been in the lounge once to put on a cooking shirt.
Yes.
And that's the lounge that's right next. Excuse me, that's right next to the wine cellar, correct?
No, the wine cellar's in the arcade, downstairs.
How do you get into the wine cellar?
You push a jukebox out of the stairs, and you go downstairs.
And when you go downstairs, what do you see?
It's like a bomb shelter thing, almost. There's sleeping bags, there's pillows. There's like canned sausages and a bunch of, like, little Michael Jackson gold energy drinks. And you enter into another small room which has a bunch of wine and a bunch of alcohol in there.
And to get into that room with the wine, what do you have to do?
Need someone with a key.
And where do you find the key?
I don't know. I just knew it was in the lounge, and Jesus had one, and that's all I knew.
Okay, now, how many times have you been down in the wine cellar?
Twice.
So when you described the lounge in detail, you weren't talking about the wine cellar, right?
Yes.
You just described the little room right next to the wine cellar, right?
No, I described a room that's in the main house. The wine cellar's in the arcade.
Okay.
Away from the house.
When you go into the wine cellar, you go downstairs, right?
Yes.
What does that stairs look like?
It's wooden, and they go down. And they have steps.
And you go down the steps, and what's the first thing you see?
A wall.
Pardon me.
A wall.
Okay.
And then you look to your right and there's a door.
Okay, and what does the door look like?
It's wooden, and it looks like an old-fashioned door.
Okay, and if you're facing the door and you look to your left, what do you see?
A wall.
Okay, and if you're facing the door and you look to your right, what do you see?
The stairs leading up to the arcade.
Is there any room close to the wine cellar?
No, except a little room upstairs in the arcade that had a bunch of books in it.
Okay, and to get into that wine cellar, there's a key, correct?
Yes.
And the key was hanging in one location, correct?
I said I didn't know where the key was.
But you really did know where it was, didn't you?
Not really.
Not really.
No.
But you got the key one time yourself, didn't you?
I've never gotten the key myself.
You asked for the key, didn't you?
What?
You asked for the key to the wine cellar at one point, didn't you?
Never. Never.
You knew where the key was hanging.
No.
Because you were watched taking that key at one point, weren't you?
I never took the key at one point.
Okay, alright. So how many times have you been in the wine cellar, then?
Twice.
Alright, and you learned this description of the wine cellar by just being there twice, correct?
Yes.
Were you ever caught drinking wine in the guest quarters?
Never.
Never once.
Never.
Never touched it at the guest quarters, right?
Never.
Okay, you gave a description of Michael's bedroom to the jury yesterday, right?
Yes.
And what did you tell the jury you'd find on the first floor?
The first floor.
Yes. The first floor of Michael's bedroom, yes.
The room to the right or to the left?
Let's take the room to the left. What do you see in the room to the left?
All the way to the left.
Yes.
There's a counter with a bunch of perfumes and colognes. There's a mirror. There's another big mirror behind it. There's speakers. There's a bunch of electric razors in a drawer. There's a big bathtub, jacuzzi type thing. There used to be a reclining chair there. It was like a square cushion, and there was a cushioned chair, and there's a dresser. There's a door with a toilet in there. There's glass doors all the way to the end. There's a big safe in there. What else?
And how about the room to the right?
All the way to the right, there's another counter with a bunch of stuff on it. There's a poster of Harry Potter and his two friends. There's a restroom all the way, if you keep walking down, with a shower. There's a closet to your left with a bunch of clothes and a bunch of souvenirs from other movies. When you first walk in, there's a closet with a bunch of pajamas. And if you go to your left, there's the stairs going up. What else is there? That's it.
You and your brother were caught in that room when Michael Jackson wasn't even at Neverland, weren't you?
To sleep, yeah.
You and your brother used to go into that room when Michael wasn't even at Neverland, right?
Yes, Michael opened his room up to us so we could sleep there while he was gone.
You were actually asked to leave that room when you were caught during a time when Michael wasn't even at Neverland, right?
No.
And you and your brother rummaged through every room in that bedroom area, correct?
No.
You went snooping around the entire bedroom area when Michael wasn't even there, correct?
No.
You went into that closet when Michael wasn't even there, correct?
No.
How do you know there are pajamas in the closet?
Because Michael showed us.
So Michael was showing you every little bit of the bedroom.
No, he just showed us where the pajamas were.
And you were never caught in there and asked to leave. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Now, referring to Exhibit 86, may I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Star. I'm showing you a photograph that you identified yesterday. The number is 86. Do you see that?
Yes.
And that's a briefcase with some girly magazines, right?
Yes.
And you told the jury yesterday, they're the magazines you saw at Neverland, right?
Yes.
And before you testified about these magazines, may I show the jury this, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Shall I just hand it to them?
If that's what you would like.
Tom. Do you want to put it up on the screen? Sure. I've turned this on.
It would be input 4.
It would be 4.
Now, do you see that briefcase, Star?
Yes.
And what you're looking at is Exhibit 86, right?
I don't see the number.
Okay, just. What you're looking at is appears to be a black briefcase with some girly magazines, right?
Yes.
And the first one says, barely legal, on it. Do you see that?
Yes.
And it appears to be a blonde woman lifting up her shirt, correct?
Yes.
And it appears to be a blonde woman who's exposing her breasts, right?
Yes.
And she appears to be wearing a dark pair of shorts, right?
Yes.
Before you testified yesterday, you looked at that photograph with Prosecutor Snedden, correct?
Yes.
You told Prosecutor Snedden that those are the magazines you had seen at Neverland, right?
Yes.
You told Prosecutor Snedden that Michael Jackson had showed you those magazines, right?
Yes.
Michael Jackson never showed you that magazine, Barely Legal, did he?
What?
Michael Jackson never showed you that magazine, Barely Legal, did he?
He did show us.
He did.
Yes.
Well, Star, did you look at the date of the magazine? It's August of 2003, is it not?
Well, I never said that was exactly that one.
Well, your family had left Neverland many months before, never to return, correct?
I'm telling you that wasn't exactly the one he showed us.
That's not what you said yesterday, and it's not what you said today, right?
Your Honor, that's argumentative.
Sustained.
When you told the jury yesterday that Michael Jackson showed you the magazine, Barely Legal, you were not telling the truth, right?
I said that he did show us Barely Legal. I didn't say that he showed us that exact one. He showed us those magazines.
You told the jury yesterday that Michael showed you the particular magazine depicted in the photograph, didn't you?
No, I said that he showed us those type of magazines.
You're saying it now because you just found out what the date is, right?
I never said those were exactly the ones.
Okay. Did you discuss this issue with Prosecutor Snedden this morning?
No.
Have you ever discussed this issue with any prosecutor?
Never.
Ever discussed this issue with any Santa Barbara sheriff's officer?
Never.
Okay. You testified yesterday to the jury that you found that briefcase cracked open, correct?
Yes.
In fact, you and your brother were caught trying to get into that briefcase, weren't you?
No.
You deny that anyone at Neverland ever caught you trying to get into the briefcase.
Yes.
Are there any locks at Neverland other than the ones you described?
Any other?
Yes.
There's a lot more locks.
Please tell the jury where the other locks are.
Almost on every door.
And how do you get into those locks?
On every single door.
Yes.
Do you want me to explain every lock?
Sure. The ones you know about. Sure.
Mostly all locked from the inside, I don't know what you're trying to ask me.
Well, I'd like you to tell the jury what you know about each lock at Neverland.
There's like hundreds of locks.
Okay, let's take 10 of them.
Okay.
Wherever they may be. Just tell the jury what you know about those 10 locks and where they are.
They all lock from the inside.
And how do you unlock them?
From the inside.
Is there any other way to unlock them?
No.
Have you unlocked any of those locks, ever?
From the inside.
Yes.
Probably coming out of the restroom.
Which lock are you talking about?
The restroom lock.
What other locks have you unlocked at Neverland?
Restroom lock, door lock. What else? I can't really remember every lock I unlocked.
Do you remember testifying in front of the Santa Barbara grand jury?
A little, yes.
Do you remember the prosecutor handed you a Girly magazine to look at?
When?
When you were in front of the Santa Barbara grand jury.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. Assumes facts not in evidence.
Sustained.
Were you ever asked to look at a Girly magazine when you testified in front of the Santa Barbara grand jury?
I was never handed a Girly magazine.
Has Mr. Snedden ever shown you a Girly magazine during your interviews?
No, except on the photo that you just showed.
Okay, and when was that?
When?
When was that?
Just a moment ago.
Okay, just a moment ago.
Yes, I'm talking about the picture you just showed a moment ago.
Yes. He showed you that picture, right?
Yes, in the grand jury.
And did you testify in the grand jury that you saw these magazines?
No, I said I saw those types of magazines.
Okay, Mr. Arvizo.
Yes.
You told Mr. Snedden, in no uncertain terms, that those were the magazines you had seen, didn't you?
I said those are the type of magazines we saw.
Okay, had you ever seen any Girly magazines in your life before you say Michael Jackson showed them to you?
No.
Never.
Well, I was only like 11, 12.
Weren't you caught at Neverland looking in Girly magazines?
I said no.
No one ever caught you and your brother looking at Girly magazines at Neverland?
Never.
Okay. And your testimony is until you got to Neverland. You and your brother had never looked at a Girly magazine at any time, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Before you got to Neverland, had you ever used a computer?
Yes. In school.
Had you ever used one at home?
No.
Your Honor, I'm a little late on the trigger on this one, but I want to object to that as vague and have it stricken in terms of what point in time we're talking about.
I'll rephrase it, Your Honor.
All right.
Could the question and the answer be stricken, please?
Denied.
Before your first visit to Neverland, had you ever used a computer?
No.
Did you know anything about computers before you made your first visit to Neverland?
I knew I could punch in some keys and I could spell a word.
And where had you learned to do that?
At school, at word processing class.
Before you were first interviewed by the Santa Barbara sheriffs, did you know anything about computers?
Yes.
And what did you know about computers at that point?
How to type and how to surf the net.
You knew how to surf the net before you first went to Neverland, didn't you?
I didn't even know we had internet. Well, I might have, but never really.
You say you might have.
Yeah, I might have, but I never really saw the point of going there.
When you were first interviewed by the Santa Barbara sheriffs, you told them about what you've claimed Michael Jackson and Frank did with a computer, right?
Yes.
And you told the Santa Barbara sheriffs that they found a site like the AOL, right?
Like the AOL?
Yes.
Well, I was kind of nervous. In that interview. I might have dropped off on half of my sentence.
You were kind of nervous in the interview and you might have dropped off like half of your sentence.
Yes. Well, that's how I speak. Whenever I'm nervous, I cut off part of my sentence. Or, I don't know, that's how I am.
Has anyone showed you a record of your interview before you testified today?
Yes.
Who?
D.A.'s office.
Excuse me.
The DA's office.
Who in the DA's office showed you a transcript of your interview before you testified today?
What interview? The Santa Barbara.
Yes.
It was mailed to me.
And do you know who mailed it to you?
No.
Do you know when you received it?
About a month ago.
Did you read it?
No.
You didn't read it at all.
Well, I did read it towards the end.
Did you read the whole thing?
Yes.
Did you then discuss that transcript with anybody?
No.
Never.
No. Tom told us not to.
Okay, well, I haven't showed you that portion of the transcript yet today, right?
What?
Your Honor, I object as vague.
I'll rephrase it. I'll rephrase. The part of the transcript where you told the sheriffs about AOL, okay.
Okay.
When did you last see that page?
I don't even remember seeing it.
You never saw it.
No, I don't remember seeing it, but it was probably in there.
Okay, well, I'll represent to you that your sentence does sort of break off.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of my sentences do.
How did you know that sentence broke off?
Because when I'm nervous, that's how I talk.
Pardon me.
When I'm nervous, that's how I talk.
You clearly looked at that before you testified today, didn't you?
No, I didn't look at those papers.
Never looked at them once.
No, probably looked at them when I got up here, no, not right here, but when I came up to Santa Barbara.
When you came up to Santa Barbara, you're saying you looked at your transcript of your police interview, right?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not understanding what you're saying. And if I'm not being clear, just tell me. Okay.
Okay.
There was a point in your sheriff's interview where you talked about Frank and Michael Jackson showing you a computer, right?
Yes, that was the same computer my brother had.
And is that a computer that Michael Jackson gave to your brother?
Yes.
Do you know when he gave it to him?
During the first visit.
Okay, and you told the Santa Barbara sheriffs, like you told the jury yesterday, that during that first visit, Michael Jackson and Frank showed you the computer, right?
Yes.
You told the sheriffs they looked at a site like AOL, correct?
I don't know what I meant by saying that.
But you said it.
I know. I probably cut off the sentence.
You're saying that you told the sheriffs it was a site like AOL, but you don't know what AOL means.
I probably meant we probably went on AOL and we found a site there.
Do you know what AOL means?
It's an internet company.
When you told the Santa Barbara sheriffs you went on a site.
Yes.
Like AOL, you knew how to use the internet, right?
No, I don't remember saying that.
When you were first interviewed by the Santa Barbara sheriffs.
Okay.
First interview. Okay.
Right.
You told them Michael Jackson and Frank showed you and your brother a site on the computer, right?
Yes.
You told them it was a site like AOL, right?
Yes.
You knew what AOL was when you mentioned that, didn't you?
Yes.
Why did you just tell the jury you didn't know?
I knew it after my brother was, I don't know, was connected or, I don't know the word, but when he was, because when Michael gave him the laptop, he had someone call him and set up an AOL account for my brother for his laptop.
Okay, you and your brother had looked at internet sites before you ever visited Neverland, hadn't you?
No, I never really used the internet.
Your brother had, as far as you know, right?
No, I never really monitored my brother.
Pardon me.
I never really monitored my brother.
When Michael Jackson gave your brother a computer.
Yes.
You and your brother already knew how to use it, correct?
No, he called someone to hook it up. Well, talked to my brother on the phone of how to hook it up.
You told the police in your first interview you looked at www.pussy.com.
No, I was making an example that I was trying to say, that wasn't the exact site. I'm just saying, I was just making an example.
Okay, you also told the police you might have looked at www.teenpussy.com, right?
No, I never said that.
You never said that to the sheriffs.
No.
Would it refresh your recollection if I show you their report?
Sure.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Have you had a chance to look at that page?
Yes, but...
But, what?
I never said that. That's just a paragraph that somebody wrote.
So you never said that to the Santa Barbara sheriffs?
I might have, but I don't remember saying it.
Well, you were saying that if it appears in a report, it's wrong.
Well, I'm saying I never remember saying it.
Okay, Star. You and your brother were caught at Neverland looking at computer sites when Michael wasn't even there, right?
There's no computers at Neverland.
Your brother had one.
At the beginning. But then it broke, and then we never had it again. And the only other computer there was Frank's computer, and Frank took it everywhere he went.
Okay, so you never were caught by anybody?
No.
Looking at adult material sites on a computer?
No.
Is that correct?
There's no computers in Neverland.
Okay, now, did you tell the sheriffs that Michael Jackson kept your family away from clocks?
Well, we never knew the time.
Well, did you tell the Santa Barbara sheriffs that Michael Jackson would never let us look at clocks, or words to that effect?
Words, could I see it?
I'm just asking you.
No. Well, yes, probably said it to an extent like that.
Well, just tell the jury, if you would, how you remember saying it.
I just remember saying that. I don't remember exactly how I said it.
Well, you said words to the effect, Michael Jackson kept my family away from clocks and time, right?
Were those my exact words?
No, I'm saying, words to that effect. Do you remember exactly how you said it to the sheriff?
No, I don't know exactly.
Do you remember roughly how you said it to the sheriffs?
Not really.
Did you say anything like that to the sheriffs?
Yes.
Please tell the jury what you told the sheriffs.
I'm going to be guessing, because I don't know my exact words.
Okay, I'm not asking for your exact words. I'm just asking you for generally what you said.
They kept us away from the clocks. We didn't know the exact time or the date or nothing.
Would you agree that overlooking Neverland is a huge clock?
Yes. It's a flower clock.
Yes. And to the right of that big flower clock is another clock, correct?
Probably.
There are clocks all over Neverland, correct?
Yes.
And you and your brothers used to run all around Neverland, right?
Yes.
You wanted the sheriffs to think that you and your family were imprisoned and kept away from clocks.
No.
That's why you told them that lie, right?
No.
If there are clocks all over Neverland, if there's a big flower clock on a hill overlooking Neverland, and if you and your brothers were running freely around Neverland, why did you tell the Santa Barbara sheriffs, we were kept away from clocks and time?
Because they were wrong and we were kept away from them. We weren't able to know the time.
Your mother told you to say that, didn't she?
No.
It was a lie, wasn't it?
No.
It defies common sense, doesn't it?
Can you explain that?
You don't know what that means.
I know what common sense is.
Everywhere you go at Neverland, you can see clocks, right?
Not everywhere.
Most places, right?
Yes, most places.
And you and your brother were up on a hill.
They weren't always correct. Yeah, they had clocks there, but they weren't always correct.
Well, if you didn't know what time it was, how do you know they weren't correct?
Because the clocks were, one clock was saying 5 o'clock and another clock was saying 9 o'clock. That's how I knew they were wrong.
Star, you knew what time it was at Neverland, didn't you?
No.
Object as argumentative, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Did you ever send letters or cards to Michael Jackson?
Yes.
Do you know when you did that?
When we first met Michael.
And approximately when was that again?
When I was 10, 11.
And do you know approximately when you first met Michael?
While my brother was having cancer.
Was that probably the fall of 2000?
I don't know the date.
Was it 2001?
I don't know the date.
Was it 2002?
I just know it was between when my brother was having cancer.
Did your mother help you write your letters to Michael?
No.
Did you write them yourself?
Yes.
You wrote a letter to Michael, Star, where you said, you thanked him, because even when your hearts get broken and shattered into tiny little pieces, we always still love, need and care about you with every tiny little piece of our hearts, right?
Are you reading that from a card?
I'm asking you if you remember saying anything like that.
No.
Never said it.
No.
Would it refresh your recollection if I show you a card?
Yes.
That you sent to Michael?
Yes.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Your Honor, could I see the card before counsel shows him?
Sure. My mistake.
That's okay. My mistake. I just didn't.
May I have this marked as the exhibit next in order, Your Honor?
Yes.
Excuse me, Your Honor. If he's going to refresh the individual's recollection first, and that.
Excuse me, Your Honor, I'm doing it.
He's changed his.
I object.
He's changed his approach.
I'm doing it.
He was going to refresh. Now he's asking if the exhibit may be marked. He can have the exhibit marked.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's 5001.
5001.
No objection that it come in.
Your Honor, that would be a card in an envelope. Would you like them to be two exhibits or can they be the same?
I think they can be the same.
Okay, thank you. Star. I'm going to show you a card and envelope that have been marked as Exhibit 5001. Okay.
I think I wrote this off another card.
Okay, but you did write it, right?
Yes.
Have you seen that before?
I haven't seen this in a long time.
But that's your handwriting, isn't it?
Yes, when I was really little. Yes.
And how about the envelope? Have you seen that envelope, the purple envelope? Have you seen that before?
Yes.
That's the envelope the card came in.
I don't remember if the envelope came with this card.
Okay, and you gave Michael Jackson your phone number, right, at the bottom.
Looks like it.
Okay.
Wait, I don't remember that being my phone number. But if it is, it was.
I would move this document into evidence, Your Honor.
I already said no objection, Your Honor.
It's admitted.
You said to Michael Jackson, my super, best friend, right?
Yes.
You said, I love you, repeatedly, right?
Yes.
And you referred to Father's Day, right?
I didn't read the card.
Would it refresh your recollection if I show you the envelope?
Sure.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, you said, Happy Father's Day, on the envelope, right?
Wait, can I see it one more time?
Sure. May I?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay.
You sent the card on Father's Day, correct?
Sure. I don't remember, but, okay.
You told Mr. Jackson, you always heal us in a very special way, right?
I wrote that off another card.
What other card did you write that off of?
It was a card that already had it written on there.
Where did you get that card?
Probably from a supermarket.
Excuse me.
Probably from a supermarket.
Okay, so you took a card from a supermarket.
Yes.
And wrote the words.
It was a card lying around. My grandmother got a lot of cards from her grandchildren.
You said, Michael, you were special to us, right?
Okay.
We loyally and faithfully love you more, right?
Yes.
We love you unconditionally, to infinity and beyond forever, right?
Okay.
And you said, thank you, Michael, for being our family, right?
Okay.
Love. Your blowhole, Star Arvizo, right?
Okay.
626-452-1693, right?
I don't even remember having that phone number, but.
The card is signed, Davellin, Gavin, Star and me, right?
Me, okay.
Well, there's other people's writings on there also, correct?
Yes.
And you all used to write to Michael and tell him about how he had healed your family, right?
What do you mean? We probably wrote to him like.
Pardon me.
I only wrote to him, 3 times.
Okay, but you would write to him and tell him how he had healed your family, true?
I don't remember that.
Your mother would ask you to do that, right?
No.
And your family often referred to Michael as a father figure, right?
Sure.
You did that often, right?
Refer to him as a father figure.
Yes. You always referred to Michael as being part of your family, didn't you?
Yes. Part of our family.
Your mother used to do that, correct?
What do you mean?
You don't know what I mean.
No.
Your mother used to refer to Michael Jackson as being part of your family, didn't she?
Your Honor, I'm going to object as to vague as to time.
I'll rephrase it, Your Honor. From the time you first met Michael Jackson, you used to refer to him as being part of your family, didn't you?
Yes.
From the time your mother first met Michael Jackson, she used to refer to him as being part of your family, right?
I can't speak for my mom.
You never heard her say that.
Not really.
From the time your sister first met Michael Jackson, she used to refer to him as being part of the family, right?
I don't know.
Did you ever hear her say that?
No.
But you started doing it yourself, correct?
Yes.
And you say you did it by copying a card from a supermarket.
Yes, I just plugged his name in.
Okay, so this handwriting of yours all comes from a supermarket card, is that correct?
No, not from a supermarket card. I rewrote the supermarket card.
Okay, so when you said to Michael, "Thank you, Michael, because even when our hearts are and get broken and shattered into tiny little pieces, we always still love, need and care about you with every tiny little piece of our hearts, because you always heal us in a very special way," did you get that from a supermarket card?
I plugged some words in, I plugged his name in, and that's how I got that paragraph.
And you recall sending it to him?
What?
Do you recall sending it to him?
Not really.
Do you recall giving it to him?
Not really.
Yesterday you told the jury that when you were interviewed on that rebuttal tape and your family said things about Michael healing Gavin and being a father, that was something scripted, correct?
Yes.
But nobody scripted the words in this card, did they?
No, but that was before all that happened.
Before what happened, Star?
Before the Miami trip, and before we finally left.
So what you're saying is before the Miami trip, you and your family always referred to Michael as Daddy, and as someone who would heal.
We never had a constant connection with Michael during that time.
Then why would you write a card like this to him?
Probably when we came back from Neverland. I don't know, I was really little when I wrote that card.
Your mother asked you to write it, didn't she?
No.
Your mother never asked you to write to Michael.
No.
Your mother. How old were you when you wrote the card, do you think?
Probably, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, how old do you think you were? 10, 9.
I can't guess. I don't know.
Well, how old are you now?
14.
We're talking about a couple of years ago, right?
I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong age.
Pardon me.
I don't want to say the wrong age.
No, just do your best. Just estimate. We're talking about a couple of years ago, correct?
No.
Huh.
No.
Well, how long ago do you think you were visiting Neverland?
Back in 2000 and 2001.
All right. How old do you think you were in 2000 and 2001?
10.
Are you saying that when you were 10 years old nobody told you what words to write on this card?
Yes.
You wrote it all yourself when you were 10?
No, the card helped me.
Well, what about the words, "When we get broken and shattered into tiny little pieces we always still love, need and care about you with every tiny little piece of our hearts, because you always heal us in a very special way"? Did you make those words up at the age of 10?
No, the card did.
The card did.
Yes, the card already had them written on there.
Oh, I see, so you took a card and copied it.
Yes, I told you.
And your mother wasn't involved in that?
No.
And your father wasn't involved in that?
No.
And Gavin wasn't involved in that?
No.
And Davellin wasn't involved in that, right?
No.
You did it all yourself, right?
Yes.
Then how come you got other family members writing on the same card?
Well, they probably wrote on the card after I was done with it.
Did you see them do that?
No, I just wrote on it, and I left it there.
Are you saying they probably did that, or you know they did that?
They probably did that.
Okay, but what you're telling the jury, and correct me if I'm wrong, is long before the rebuttal video. Your family was referring to Michael as daddy, and as someone who had healed the family, true.
Object, Your Honor, as compound.
I'll rephrase it, Your Honor. I think it is compound.
All right.
Long before the rebuttal film, your family was referring to Michael as a father figure, right?
It was long before the Miami trip, too.
You say long before it.
Yes.
Well, in the year.
And.
Pardon me.
And my brother was referring to him as a father figure.
Okay, long before the Miami trip, correct?
Yes.
And long before the Miami trip, your mother was referring to him as a father figure, right?
My brother.
Is that true?
Yes, my brother needed a father at that time. He was barely coming out of his terminal illness.
And long before the Miami trip, you were referring to Michael Jackson as a father figure, right?
I don't remember doing it, but okay.
Well, did you do that?
No.
Pardon me.
No.
You didn't do it.
No.
What about the card?
So, that's what the card had on it, so I rewrite it on a piece of paper and I plugged in his name.
Now, blowhole was a nickname for a fish, right?
Yes.
Your nickname was based on a fish, right?
I made it up. I was going to give it to Michael. We had a rock, paper, scissors, I lost, so I got stuck with that name.
Okay. Do you remember meeting with psychologist Stanley Katz to talk about what you claim Michael Jackson did to your mother? Do you remember that?
Yes.
You told Stanley Katz that Michael Jackson gave you red wine and vodka, correct?
I don't remember saying that.
Would it refresh your recollection if I show you his testimony?
Whose testimony?
Stanley Katz.
I never said that to him, so?
Would it refresh your recollection if I just show you what he says you told him?
That's what he said.
Okay. Would it refresh your recollection if I just show you what he said?
Okay, but it's not going to help.
It's not going to help you.
Yeah. I remember saying red and white wine, and there's one time we got vodka, yes.
You told Stanley Katz that you were given vodka.
Yes.
But yesterday you told the jury it was just wine, right?
I forgot.
You might have forgot yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. You told Stanley Katz that the first time you observed your brother in bed with Michael Jackson, that Michael Jackson had put his hand on your brother's crotch, right?
Yes.
You then changed that to say he had put his hand inside your brother's pants, right?
He might have said it, but I know what I said.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Repeat the question.
Originally, you told Stanley Katz that Michael Jackson had put his hand near your brother's crotch, right?
Near.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that right?
No.
Well, you said he put his hand on his crotch, correct?
In his underwears.
And as time went on, after interview and after interview, you changed that to masturbation, true?
Masturbating my brother.
Let me rephrase it.
Okay.
You told Stanley Katz that the first time you saw Michael Jackson in bed with your brother, the time you went up the stairs, that Michael Jackson had put his hand on your brother's crotch, right?
When they were going up the stairs.
Yes.
While they were going up the stairs.
While you're going up the stairs.
Okay.
Let me rephrase it. Don't answer it if you're confused. Okay.
Okay.
You told the jury yesterday you went up the stairs one night, right?
Yes.
You got into the room yourself, right?
Yes.
You said the bell went off, right?
When I first walked in through the hallway, yes.
And even though the bell went off, you kept going up the stairs, right?
The bell went off while I made my way through the hallway.
The bell went off when you opened the door, didn't it?
No, it stopped.
Pardon me.
It stopped.
It just stopped.
Yeah, it goes for a couple more minutes and then it stops.
And then what happens?
That's it.
It never goes on again.
No.
It goes off so Michael can hear it, correct?
If the door's closed, you can't hear nothing.
Can't hear anything upstairs.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. The bell goes off. You say Michael doesn't hear it, right?
Yes.
And you say that you open his door to the stairway, right? And you say you go upstairs, right?
Okay.
The first one you say you described that to was Stanley Katz, correct?
Yes.
You told Stanley Katz that Michael Jackson had his left hand on Gavin's crotch, right?
Yes.
Never told him that Michael Jackson was masturbating Gavin.
He wasn't masturbating. He was just feeling.
He was just feeling him.
Yes.
Do you remember yesterday you told the jury he was masturbating him?
No, I said Michael was feeling my brother while he was masturbating.
Okay. Did you ever tell the jury yesterday that Michael was masturbating your brother?
No.
Did you ever tell that to anybody?
No.
Okay. Do you remember when you described for Stanley Katz the second time you claim Michael Jackson was observed by you in bed with your brother? Do you remember that?
What?
Do you remember telling Stanley Katz there was a second time that you went up the stairs and observed Michael Jackson touching your brother?
Yes.
Did you tell Stanley Katz that Michael Jackson had his hand on your brother's crotch?
Yes.
That's really not what you told him at all, is it?
What are you talking about?
Well, you told Stanley Katz that Michael Jackson was rubbing his penis against Gavin's buttocks, didn't you?
When? The second time?
Yes. Did you tell Stanley Katz that?
No.
Would it refresh your recollection if I show you his grand jury testimony?
I know what I said, though.
Are you denying telling psychologist Stanley Katz
The second time.
that you told him the second time you observed Michael Jackson touching your brother in bed, that Michael Jackson was rubbing his penis against your brother's buttocks?
No.
You never told that to Stanley Katz.
No.
If I showed you his testimony, would that jog your memory?
No. I know what I said, though.
Okay. You tried to tell Stanley Katz that you smelled marijuana, didn't you?
I don't know how marijuana smells.
Didn't you tell Stanley Katz you smelled marijuana?
No.
Would it refresh your recollection if I show you that page of his testimony?
No.
Okay. Now, are you saying that you never told Michael Jackson you wanted to be an actor?
No.
Never told him that at all, right?
No.
Okay. To your knowledge, did your mother ever tell Michael Jackson you wanted to be an actor?
I can't speak for her.
Did you ever hear her say that?
No.
You went to dancing classes, right?
Yes.
And what school did you go to?
I went to Mr. and Mrs. Kennedy's dance studio. Where else did I go? I went to ballet classes, rhythm, tap, a little bit of jazz. What else? That's it.
And you went to comedy class, right?
Sure, yes.
When did you go to comedy class?
In the summer.
What summer was that?
In between third and fourth.
Were you trying to learn to be a comedian?
No, I just wanted to do it for fun.
Okay. Ever tell anyone you wanted to be a comedian?
No.
Okay. Now, you told the Santa Barbara sheriffs that Frank threatened you and your family, right?
He just threatened me.
He just threatened you alone.
He probably threatened my family.
Did he threaten you alone?
Yes.
Do you know when that was?
I don't know the date.
Was it when you first got to Neverland?
I don't really remember.
Was it after the Miami trip?
Yes.
Do you know how soon after the Miami trip?
I think it was right before the rebuttal.
Right before the rebuttal.
I was trying to go talk to my mom.
So this would be before, if I represent to you the rebuttal was June 20th, right?
Yes.
Excuse me, February 20th, pardon me. February 20th was the rebuttal tape, right?
Okay.
And you're saying that Frank threatened you right before the rebuttal tape?
While I was trying to walk to my mom's guest unit.
Okay, but it was, as far as you know, it's before the rebuttal tape, right?
Yes.
Okay, and in one of your sheriff's interviews, you were asked why Frank made that threat, right?
Yes.
And you told the sheriffs, because he already knew that what Michael did to us, and if we told them the truth, he would have went to jail, right?
Can I read that?
Yes. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Have you had a chance to look at that page?
Yes.
Do you remember saying that to the sheriffs?
Yes.
And you told them, essentially, that Frank said that to you, threatened you, because he knew that if you told anybody what Michael had done, Michael would go to jail, right?
Yes.
That was right before the rebuttal tape, right?
I think so, yes.
Have you discussed the charges in this case with the sheriffs?
No.
Have they told you they're claiming that molestation went on starting the 20th of June?
Okay.
February, I mean, have they told you that?
Okay, no, they haven't told me.
Did you ever give them dates?
No, I knew more back then than I do now.
You knew more back then than you do now.
Yes, it was fresh in my memory back then.
Did someone tell you to say that?
No, I'm saying it right now, because I have school, I have tests to study for, and most of that stuff leave my memory, most of the details.
That's because you're studying for tests in school.
Yes, yes.
And you think if you weren't studying for tests in school, you'd know a lot more today.
It's not just tests, it's just learning.
So the learning you've done in school has interfered with your memory about this case.
No, I know everything happened. I just don't know it in detail like I did in those testimonies.
Okay. You had a lot of details yesterday, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I do remember details, but not all the details.
Okay, but you said you've reviewed a transcript of your police interview, right?
Yes, I didn't memorize 300 pages.
They told you to memorize it.
No, I'm just telling you I didn't memorize them. I just read through them.
Now, where did you get 300 pages?
I'm just giving you an example.
Please tell the jury how many pages you were mailed to review before you testified.
I didn't count them.
Do you know approximately how many?
No.
Didn't you just say 300?
I was showing you an example.
Okay, and when did you get these pages, however many there were?
When did I get them?
Yes.
About a month ago.
Do you know where they came from?
No.
No idea.
No.
They just popped up in the mail.
Yes.
And when you got them, what did you do?
I didn't read them.
Where did you put them?
Put them right near my bed.
Never looked at them again.
No, until I almost came up here.
So when you almost came up here, you looked at those pages for the first time, right?
Yes.
And how many of them did you look at?
How many?
Yeah, roughly.
I don't know.
Did you look at all of them?
Yes.
Did someone tell you to read them?
Yes.
Who?
Tom.
Prosecutor Snedden.
Yes.
Told you to read all the pages, right?
Yes. Just to look through them.
Told you to read them, to get ready for your testimony in this case, right?
Yes. Just to look through them.
And that's how you knew your sentence to the sheriffs about AOL dropped off and wasn't completed, right?
I didn't know about that.
You didn't know about that.
No.
Didn't you just testify about that?
I said I read through them.
Read through what?
My transcripts.
Okay, you read through them because Prosecutor Snedden wanted you to make sure that you testified consistently with what you had in the reports, right?
Okay.
Is that what he said?
No, he just told me to thumb through them, to look through them.
He told you just to thumb through them.
No, just to look through them.
Okay, now, when did he do this?
About a month ago.
Did you do what he asked you to do?
No, I had school to concentrate on. I had a final.
Okay, so you didn't do what Prosecutor Snedden asked you to do, isn't that correct?
I eventually did it.
Eventually you did, and can you just tell us when?
What?
Can you just tell us when you eventually did what Prosecutor Snedden asked you to do?
4 weeks after he told me, or 3 weeks.
Okay, and was that in the last month?
Yes.
So you read all the documents you were sent by Prosecutor Snedden, right?
Yes, I didn't memorize them. I just read them and, yeah.
Well, did anyone tell you to memorize them?
No, I'm telling you I didn't memorize all those pages.
Okay. Do you remember telling the Santa Barbara sheriffs that there's a big telescope on a hill at Neverland that you and Gavin used to look through?
We looked through once or twice, yes.
And describe for the jury where that telescope is, if you would.
It's on a hill right before you enter the second gate into the ranch.
And from that hill, can you get a view of Neverland?
Yes. You can also view into a guest unit.
And you told the sheriffs that you and Gavin used to look through that telescope into the guest units, right?
Yes, we saw into one guest unit where my mom was staying.
Okay, so you used to kind of look at your mom through the telescope, right?
No, we were looking and we saw a guest unit, and then we continued looking somewhere else.
Did you look into the window of that guest unit?
Yes.
And that's where your mom was, right?
Yes.
You saw your mom, right?
All you saw was her television and her bed. But you saw like a part of her bed. You didn't see her complete bed.
Did you see her in the unit?
No.
But your testimony was that your mom never came out of the guest quarters, right?
Yes.
Do you remember? Strike that. Did you ever see your mom dancing with Michael Jackson?
No.
Did you ever go into the theater with Michael Jackson and your mom?
I went in the theater a lot of times.
Did you ever go into the theater with your mom, Michael, Davellin and Gavin?
Yes, to watch a movie.
And how often did you do that?
My mom rarely came out.
Well, but you just said, first you said she never went out. Then you admitted you'd been in the theater with her, right?
I was thinking about something else.
Okay.
You kind of got it mixed into my memory.
Okay, I don't want to mix you up. First you said your mom never came out of the guest cottage, right?
Yes.
And then you admitted she'd been in the theater with Michael and the family, right?
And I told you that my memories got mixed in and I said something else.
Okay, I'm just trying to find out what the truth is, if I can.
Okay.
You said you were in the theater with your mom, Michael, Gavin and Davellin, right?
Yes. But then I said after that no, she wasn't, because she wasn't.
Okay, so your mom never was in the theater you're saying now, right?
She probably was, but I wasn't there. I just remember going in there and watching movies.
Alright, now, the telescope on the hill is a telescope that you and your brother used to look through, correct?
It was twice we looked through the telescope.
And does the telescope move?
Yes, moves in all directions.
And if you take that telescope, you can see the clocks at Neverland, can't you?
Okay.
Can you?
Trees were in the way.
Trees are in the way.
Yes, there's a lot of trees at Neverland.
You can't see one clock from that telescope.
Which clock are you referring to?
Any of them.
There was, like, 2 clocks right beside each other and a clock way over there by the carnival. You can see the hands on that clock.
That's the clock by the carnival.
Yes.
And you said there are 2 other clocks you mentioned.
Well, there's one big clock.
Right, one big clock.
Yes.
Can you see that through the telescope?
No.
What clocks can you see through the telescope?
The one by the carnival, but it's too small to look through. I mean, it's too small to see the hands moving.
What about the big flower clock?
Okay.
On the hill that overlooks Neverland. Can you see that through the telescope?
No, the trees are in the way.
You're sure of that?
Yes.
Did you try to do it?
Not really. We were looking. We just wanted to look through it. We weren't trying to look for time. We were just looking through it, because it was up there, so we were just trying to look through it.
You're making up that trees block your view through the telescope, aren't you?
I'm just saying.
Star.
I never really expected to look for a clock. I just looked through it. I remember trees and probably, yeah. I remember trees, but I never really, the telescope was up there, so me and my brother tried to look through it.
Why did you just tell the jury that trees prevent you from seeing clocks through the telescope on the hill that overlooks Neverland?
What does it matter? I mean, even when you're down there, you can see the clock. When you're driving the car. I don't know what you're trying to get at.
What else have you seen through that telescope on the hill that overlooks Neverland?
Rides. And trees.
What else?
And the guest unit.
What else?
Hills.
Can you see the theater?
Never really tried to see the theater.
Can you see the main house?
Probably. I don't know. I never really tried.
Well, did you and your brother take that telescope and look all over Neverland on that hill with the telescope that you've described moves?
It's okay.
Did you look all over Neverland at that, through that moving telescope?
No, we just looked through it. We didn't try to examine the whole Neverland.
How far away, if you know, is the guest unit from that telescope, if you know?
I don't know, but I could guess.
But you say you were up there only twice with your brother, right?
Yes.
Do you know what time of day that was?
Daylight. Daytime.
Okay, and certainly you've been to Neverland at night, right?
Yes.
Have you noticed that these clocks are lit up at night?
The flower clock.
Any of them?
Sure.
You've noticed they're lit up at night, haven't you?
I just noticed that the train station is lit up, and so is the flower clock. I can't, there's the flower clock overlooking Neverland. Not overlooking. It's right there.
Right up on a hill above the main house, correct?
Yes.
You've seen that clock lit at night, true?
I don't remember if it was lit, but it was probably lit, yeah.
Well, why do you tell the jury it was probably lit?
I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
Is this a good place to stop, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Remember the admonition, and I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:30.